Welcome to Project Eden for Empyrion Galactic Survival. In the last part, we took down the abandoned mine here, and which was quite interesting seeing I was doing it with light armor, but we got some nice loot out of it, especially the epic armor here, which is effectively solved my temperature problems because we no longer have to wear the EVA boost because I can go to minus 235 degrees Celsius and up to 185 degrees positive. We've also got 15 protection from radiation. So with this epic armor, we should be able to investigate quite a lot of hostile planets. So I'm just going to need to look after this quite well. Now, as I said at the end of the last video, because we've now got a really good source of hardened steel blocks, I'm going to do some work on my capital vessel. And just to show you what I've actually done already, I had to put these storage area in here simply because I ran out of space. So what I needed was somewhere to be able to put all the hardened steel blocks that I've been harvesting. You can see I've already taken out a pile, but there's a lot more to go. Also, a big thank you for the person who said about the alien steel blocks could be used to protect your core machine room. I think I will be using that. And also somebody mentioned that I might have missed a couple of containers. What I'm going to do is, as I scrap this base out, I'm going to let's get rid of the yeah, as I scrap this base down, I kind of double check to make sure that I haven't missed anything. But what I really want to do in this part is focus very much on getting my CV a little bit more useful, is probably the polite term for it. What I want to do in this part is effectively work on the rear of the ship, because every CV needs some kind of hangar deck which can be used to carry hover vehicles, especially considering how tough POIs have become now. So that's what we're going to be doing in this part, is building out the hangar deck. And what you will now, this kind of collection of storage containers represents the transition wall between the hangar deck and what will be the machine room up here eventually. Although what I most likely will do is face this with carbon substrate, because trying to texture containers can be a little bit of a problem. But what I really want to do in this part is just get the main structure in place. Because of course, when you're building a hangar, effectively what you're doing is building a box. This marks the center line. Another thing I always like is when you're going to have a really big storage area, I like to have a symmetry along the center of the ship. I've had CVs from the workshop where people have put all the storage down each side. The trouble with that is if someone fills up one side, it can unbalance the ship a little bit. This is the kind of configuration I like, is to my ideal is to build them in the floor, and that may actually happen in the future, that because this ship is going to be very much an ongoing process, and there's a very real possibility eventually it will get so big that I won't be able to land it on planets. So I may have to get another CV for planetary operations. So what we'll end up with is like a space-going base fortress. So if any of you watched my, I don't think it was the last, oh well, a series of, I think it was the Alpha 12 series, where I actually built a kind of a space-going combat ship which had absolutely no chance of getting down on a planet because it was absolutely massive. And maybe this ship will evolve into that over time. Anyway, the first thing we're going to do is get the hangar floor in. Now what I'm going to be doing is using the hardened steel blocks to give the outer protective core of this ship. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 11 should be enough, because one of the issues I have with the ships you often get in the workshop is that the hangars are very cramped, and if you're going to get a decent sized hover vehicle inside of a capital vessel, you need not just enough space to park it, you need enough to maneuver and possibly turn it around. And I like to have a hangar where I could possibly store 2 ships inside. That's what we're going to do. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is set up the symmetry plane, because we've got to put down a lot of blocks. So there's no point messing around with. We'll just symmetry plane in place. And the other thing I've also done, if I show you here, I've started to shape the lower hull because I don't like completely flat hulls. I like a little bit of a profile underneath, because otherwise the ship just looks too much like a box. So we're going to come here, and of course come out this here. I'm hoping the ship doesn't develop a touch of droop. So what I'm going to have to try and do is move the landing gear a little bit and just kind of put you there. Now, apologies if you hear rustles of paper, because I've got a plan kind of sketched out on a bit of paper here. I mean, it's nothing sophisticated. It's just like the rough dimensions that what I'm looking for, just to remind me, and one or two like hand-drawn shapes of you know, like the base of the ship in blocks, the back of the ship, things like that. We got this here, and let me just look at my notes. So what I need to do now is we're going to come back to a new round here. Like that. You can see how quickly we're going through the blocks. As you can see, so we've got a little bit of a profile here. Now, eventually what we'll probably have is a half block across the bottom as well, because most likely somewhere in the middle here we will put in a repair bay. Now, my favorite hangar door is a 9x5. So we're going, so we need 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I've done so far is the width of the hangar deck. In fact, I'm very tempted to do something. Come in here, capital vessel. Let me just do a bit of an unlock session. I wouldn't mind making the hangar door so I can build around it. The other thing I'm going to need to do is unlock these as well. So we've got plenty of points for that. I haven't even unlocked the constructors yet, but that's not a problem. So let me just come in here. Move to cancel that for the moment. And try so I can see what I'm doing. I think I've got my constructor there. I'm going to put you on container controller 1 so that everything is going to come out. I'm just going to build that. Well, that didn't take long, did it? Container controller 1. And what we're going to do is bring that down there. And as I say, my favorite hangar door is 9x5. And I think that fit. I think that is the right position, is it? No, it's not. Of course, it's going to take me forever to pick this thing up now. Ah! I've just decomposed it. Deconstructed it. It's annoying. Okay, we're going to have to do it again. Luckily, the hangar deck doesn't really use that much in the way of very exotic materials. But it was a bit of a waste, but we still got loads of resources tucked down in this base that we can... Yeah, let's try again. If you don't succeed, just quietly sit in a corner and cry. 9x5. Yeah, it's that, isn't it? So that puts the hangar door on the back here. Now, the hangar door is going to define the height of the ship, because as you probably saw when I was taking it apart, the hangar door has a lot of hit points. So it's quite acceptable to expose this top through onto the landing deck. So that's okay. Right, so get back to what to do. We're going to have a solid line of blocks back now like that. And I want to go up. Let me just check my design. And we're going to have a kind of a solid pipe up like that on the next to the hangar door. Now, the next thing I would like to do is put in the landing gear. Maybe if we come in back that far. And if I come back that far like that, no, take this one out. Of course, every time you make a mistake with the symmetry plane, you duplicate your mistake as well. But that would be the position that we're going to put the landing gear in. And let me see. And what I want is the width to store the ship plus 2 blocks. Now, if any of you guys have looked at some of Jeff Randall's work, and also Spanish uses this technique, what you do is you have the hangar deck plus a couple of blocks. And what that does is it allows you to put the thrusters in. Also, it means that you can put in extra equipment like O2 tanks, fuel tanks, constructors, all sorts of stuff down the side of the hangar deck. So that's the kind of what I want to do, but I think I don't want it to come any wider than that. So if I come here, say for argument's sake, you come out that, and that kind of starts to bring the ship up that way. I really would like to do this landing gear, so let me just get rid of that and turn the light on so we can actually see what we're doing. Yeah, we're going to do the landing gear, but to put the landing gear in, I'm going to have to kind of lift the ship off the ground a little bit so I can work underneath it. I'm just going to here, so I'm going to need to turn the symmetry plane off, because the game can get a little bit weird if you move the ship with the symmetry plane. I mean, in theory, you should be able to do it, but you can never tell, to be honest. Right, let me just turn... Oh, we can leave that on for the moment. Power on the thrusters. And we'll just get... What we're going to do is quite literally just lift off directly off the ground here. And we're going to have to come back, say, to about here. I think that's because I'm near some thrusters. Here. Because I've taken off the landing gear has disappeared. I think the landing gear is just there. If we can just retrieve, definitely retrieving it, aren't I? Oh, bit of a nod. There's one that's just there as well. We'll just... Oh, I forgot. That's why I'm getting overheated. My lift thruster is quite literally in the center of the ship. I'd forgotten I put that there. But of course, I've only got 2 lift thrusters. Just have a quick look at the... We've got 2 lift thrusters, 2 lateral thrusters, 2 rear thrusters, and just the 4, 2 on each side and 2 on the top. That's it. Let me just come here. Go in like it there. Annoying. There's a little bit of finger twitch there. Come down here. That in there. And now in theory we land and turn the thrusters off. You should have the ship nicely settled on the landing gear in the correct position. Yes, thank you, game. Now, actually, I've just now the next thing I want to do is I'm thinking of thrusters. I like the idea of actually, yeah, if we retrieve that block there and that block there, we've only got a few thrusters. We just oops. Right, I'm going to bring down these and what I'm going to do is put in, rotate you that way and then take you in like that. Oops, ha, I didn't put the symmetry plane back up. What we should be able to do is just switch it on. It should come into line with the ship, but make sure it is in line. Yep. Also have to put the thruster on this side in by hand, which is, it's not that big an issue, to be honest. So we got that there. So we've now got a couple of takeoff thrusters. Of course, what we're going to have to do is try and save a bit of fuel by regrouping and turn the thrusters off. So we got thrusters there, and I'd like to have some rear thrusters back here. Put a block there, and we're going to start. We're going to have like 4 thrusters. You can kind of put that in there. And I think I shouldn't have been so impatient, should I? I think we'll just put these guys in. Wait. We've still got another 2, so I think what we'll do is we'll put those in there like that. So we got 4 pushing us forward. I'm trying to think. Oh, I don't want to come out another full block here. So what we'll probably do is come out a half block. I need some. What we'll do is we'll just take out these 2 thrusters. Well, we don't need them where they are. That makes a big hole in the. So I think it'd probably be best if I stack the thrusters. Oops. And if we put this one here. Oops. That's what I want, but I want it on top of that thruster. I think probably the easiest way to do this is sometimes the game just won't snap to a position. So what we can do is do that. Then take this block out again on each side, like that. Be nice to have something which I could kind of put in underneath there. Let me just have a look. These are large O2. No, I think that can wait for the moment. So we got our forward thrust, 2 of our lift thrusters there, and 2 lateral thrusters now. Okay, I'm just going to auto group thing up. Quick look at the stats. So we've now got oops. So if we turn the thrusters off, turn them back on again. Now look at the stats. So at the moment we've got 62.5 meganewtons of lift and forward thrust, and we've got 54.3 lateral thrust on each side, which is okay, not brilliant, but we'll get there. We're getting there. Yeah, so we got 4 4 pushing forward, 4 lifting, and 2, 3 kind of pushing each way now at the moment. But let's just kind of start to try and fill in some of these other blocks now. And I think I like that, so let's just kind of work with this here. That will come just like that. I know the half blocks is a little bit of a risk, but I think we can live with the risk. Kind of. Actually, I don't like these rear thrusters. Oops, I don't want that. What happened there? Yeah, I don't like this look on the back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in kind of a depth effect like down here. We're going to have to find some way to kind of fit that in. And then I'm just going to hook these thrusters out again. 3, you out on this side as well, and then you there. Yeah, I think that will look better, won't it? Because it kind of gives a little bit. That means the back of the ship isn't so like the edge of a brick, and of course we're going to need to have something coming out the top here anyway to kind of give a little bit of shape on the top there. And we put in kind of no. So I think I've dropped a block there, and you can kind of come up like that, and then what you can do is just curve this in a bit like that. So that kind of comes round. Actually, that worked. Actually, a bit of serendipity there. And drop that in like that, and then up here, just put a kind of a row of blocks like that. We're gonna have to find the appropriate block for this corner, but I don't really want to spend too much time doing this. What I want to do really is just shape out the main structure of the ship. That thruster's annoying me again, so just come in here, auto group, thrusters on and off. We're actually very low on blocks now, so I'm gonna have to spend a little bit of time collecting the blocks, but before that, just have a look see. So we kind of got the back of the ship kind of shaped up. We've got this coming here. We can go half blocks up to here, and we can kind of get the height of the ship to the landing deck here. This bit here may start to taper in a little bit, because obviously we're not going to go much lot further past the end of the hangar deck. So what we might do is kind of curve this bit in a little bit. First things first, we're going to need to go and snag some more make sure retrieving to the right place. Yep. I'm just gonna come here. It's nice to have the tier 2 multi-tool as well. That's going to make a bit of a difference. These hardened steel blocks are just single pickups. So we'll just kind of wrap across here. Take the base down. Oh, bit of a teach me to talk, won't it? Never mind. Got a few titanium plates here. I mean, it happens. I think we'll salvage the switches, the light, and there. And these glass panels. We'll take out all the stuff inside as well for out here. Now I am going to make armored windows for the ship, but I don't think these are particularly that good. So when I rebuild the cockpit, we're going to have some armored windows, although there's a good chance what we might do is just pay a visit to that crashed ship to get the things I actually need. No, keep in here. We've got some ventilators in here as well. Probably pick the ventilators up. There's one here. Now, I'm not a big fan of having oxygen throughout the ship. What I like to tend to have is oxygen in where the plants are, because that stands to reason, because plants don't grow in a vacuum. And possibly the cockpit area. What we got here? What is that? So, really want to harden automatic. Oops. Wait, what are you doing? My aim is a bit off. What's going on here? I think the problem is I'm at extreme range and it's confusing the drone so that I can't. For some reason the drone doesn't want to that armored door up. It does now. But I think I've just what we'll do is we'll take out this here, take out these antennas because nice source. We'll just go back to picking out the blocks. What I'll do is I'll just go through and do these. Oops, do this, and I'll be right back once I've actually got enough to carry on building. I'll see you in a minute. Got a feeling we've got must be a golem coming very close because getting a little bit of firing coming in. And I've just picked those stairwells up because I've got a use for those. I think we're to salvage out the furniture in this area. Sure. We've got here. Wait, what are you firing at? Well, looks like we've had a golem get in close to us, so we'll just go and loot him. Because if you're using my ammunition, I want your rare materials. Just go and pick him up. I think that's why the sentry gun was clicking. Yeah, we got some magnesium, titanium ore, Patendex. That's okay. Yeah, I think that's why the sentry guns were clicking, because they could see the golem but they couldn't fire, and of course the turrets won't fire because they're too high up, so they can't get the elevation. Plus I think I've built in front of them one of them already, so they can't actually do anything. Right, this controller, I've got 187 blocks, so pick up the steel blocks and we'll just shove this in. Oops, just shove this into here. And what we'll do is kind of got this area here, so I think we're kind of just bring the how many blocks up do I want to go? I don't want the ship to look too blocky, so we're gonna I think we'll come up here. If we come up like that and just kind of draw across like that, if we come up, say, 2 levels there, how far off the top am I now? Kind of. Actually, I think we're kind of. I mean, like. Like that. And then on the inside here, we've got enough height here so that we could probably just go in. Oops. Ah. And I think we'll keep this as armored hardened steel blocks. because you want to keep this fairly tough. And then if I like that, oops, and that means I need to take out block there, that block there. I have to do it on this side as well. And trim you back like that. Now I'm not going to do the detail work on these corners at the moment. I mean, I can fiddle around with that later on. What I'm interested mainly at the moment is the main structure. Now, one thing I do like, because even though this hangar is going to be 4 blocks high, what I'd like to do is have a half block across the center, but I think we can put a double row of 4 blocks here to give protection to what's going to be underneath. Say like that, and then kind of spin that way, and then we'll just come in like that. What we'll get underneath here is like a kind of stepped up towards the full height of the hangar. Then we're kind of just put a few rows in to see what it looks like. Yeah, I think that will work, because that will kind of emphasize that this is a special area, and that will give the height for the for maneuvering around inside. So we're just gonna bring this up like that and fill this in like that. That kind of now brings the hangar back this way. I'm kind of thinking maybe we need I think I need to think a little bit about how I want to shape things, because I would like to have turret platforms down here. So we may need to reshape this a little bit. But if I'm going to put a turret platform, it would be about here. And so we probably might need to kind of come up with a vertical block for a block of 3. And then move a turret over to here. But then where would I put the down thrusters? Actually, let's just get this to the full depth, and then I can get a feel for how things are actually seeing this. Let me just look at something. I'll cancel that. We've got gaps in here, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Where would I put the door? Now, this is 5 wide, so what I would like is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3. Let's just have a bit of a count. So it's 3 high, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double it, I think. So what I want is another 12. What we call it. Change you back to the controller. Let's make 12 of those. We can work out. So the wall is here. So this is all depth. Now I want the machine room to be 5 wide, which is the same as the door. So let me just come down here. I'm out of what we call it. We've got some steel blocks, so I can kind of plan the internal section here. Say if you imagine I've got all there. Again, I'll probably shape this in, but what I'm trying to work out is the way forward towards the front of the ship. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. That would be the internal wall, which would be alien steel as recommended. So what we're probably talking about is having the doorway about here. Kind of looks a bit awful, doesn't it? And I get the feeling that this should be something to kind of invite you in. Okay, let me just pick these up again. But I've got the position, so what I need to do now is just kind of adjust it a little bit to fit what I'm thinking of. Container controller, got some steel blocks there. Got put these in as well. I think if I get these fitted in, I'll have something that we can come up like that. Fill these in. That. And that kind of defines the width of the machine room. Just take this out here, like that. Now that's the width of the machine room, so we're going to need an internal wall to protect the machine room. Just come here, pick some more blocks up like that, and we got one of these left over. Obviously could count. I think if we come here, what one would I like here? We could put something like an angled block in. No, I don't think that really fits. I think we see if we put it on this side. It looks like on this side. Oops. Maybe if we come in something like that. Come too high, and then we can come across with a solid line of blocks above, or we could create something in this corner that looks a little bit different. It will be an internal wall, and this will come up to the height there. Just temporarily put a block in there because it just makes it easier to snap to things. And then, oops. Say for argument's sake, we put that in there. And then what we could do is put something in here that merges into there. So we'll just hook that one out now. That. We got that there. What we can do is put you, whoops, and take you out there and there. So that kind of marks the end of this kind of flat area coming in here. Now this block is one high. Let me just think we're come back to so that I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm obstructing the guns, but we should be okay. I'm very tempted to put another. This is a half block, isn't it? So let's take that out for argument's sake, and then put in a full-size block here. That's kind of, I think we put a full-size block there. I could put some more containers underneath that, like that, and then what I could do is change this block here. was this might drop off, so if let's drop a block under there for the moment. I'm trying to get a shape for this end of the hangar. So say for argument's sake I come in here, take you out, and then put in a, say something like that. That kind of gives me the internal shape of the hangar with that position there. How many more blocks have I got? 7. Let me just kind of flesh this bit out here. Whoops. So for argument's sake, we come back like that. I'm just going to go and get some more blocks, and then I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I've just got another pile of hardened steel blocks. I've just realised I've made a bit of a mistake here, because what I actually want to do is face the container blocks with carbon substrate, because it's very hard to texture these. So what we'll do is change this block here to like that. If we kind of rotate that in like that, and then see this. If we bring this out 1, 2, 3, that kind of matches with that corner there, and then we'll put a row of solid blocks in, possibly out to about here. In fact, I'm very tempted just to have another row of hardened steel blocks here to put a bit of extra protection to the machine room, because if somebody's trying to beat their way in through the roof, that might work. I think, how big is this? This is 168,000. I think this will be big enough for general storage, and so we'll kind of put that there. In fact, what I might do eventually is take this out and use this for ammo. That's something there. What we're going to do now is just aware time is pushing on with this video, so what I'm going to do is just kind of get the general shape of this roof in, and then that would be it for this part. You can probably, I can't see the shape of that block, it's not round one more. So if we kind of come here, this will represent the junction between these two parts of the ceiling, and then after all, this could be a bit of a tricky turn there, but I think I should be able to get it to work. And then come back here with solid blocks here, probably 2 blocks there, and as I said, we're going to probably need to shape this corner in, so we'll probably end up taking these steel blocks off and kind of shaping the rear section in here like that. We need to come in here. I don't think we're going to need hardened steel blocks for this upper bit here, so I'll just drop you in there. So that kind of fits that together there. Obviously we got some glaring holes here that need to be fitted together. Probably need to take these out now. I'm going to need to take this out here so that I can see what I'm doing. We'll probably need to take all these out through here as well. So if I kind of shape this bit like that, kind of cut across here, be a bit careful, because if I don't want the ship to go unstable, that would be the absolute ironic if the ship breaks in half, wouldn't it? I'm a little bit worried about the fact that we got thin blocks here, but I don't think there's much I can do about that. Let me just see. So this is the start of the machine room. in here. I think I could do with a couple of doors right up here. Just in, we've got just pulled out a whole load of steel blocks, haven't I? So I kind of drop a half block in here, like that. That kind of fits in with what's going on there. I have to make up a texture tool, aren't I? I mean, I could put in like a container. No, I think we're, of course, we're gonna fit in that bit there. I think putting a solid block, hardened steel or not. I think this will be out kind of. I think we can get away with ordinary steel there. We need to fit something in there. So we've now kind of got an end wall here with the carbon, which will have the carbon substrate on. I need to find a block that will fit there, and a block that will fit there. Actually, I'm kind of a bit inclined to have. I think we'll do this with hardened steel blocks. If we say, for argument's sake, I do this. Actually, no. When we got, yeah, I think if we put these in the corner here, like coming up there, I mean, that might make life a little bit tricky on this corner because it's going to be. I know these are going to be like angled, so maybe we can finish off this corner a little bit. Yeah, I think we're going to kind of turn the ship in at this point here. So maybe these outer blocks will need to come off a bit, and we'll start to shape things in that way. I think we can come back one more. That you're the wrong way round. We can come back kind of at that point. No, maybe. I just need to cut in this area here. So we got that. We just have a look underneath. I think, right, you have to be very careful here. Cut back here. We're going to retrieve you because I don't want you there. I kind of feel this bottom section should be alien steel, but at the moment, whoops, I want that. I'm just going to get rid of the symmetry plane. It's been more annoying because I can't see what I'm doing. Just for the moment, I'm gonna take these sections out like that. The ship's coming down these points here like that. I'll just put this in like that at the moment. I just want to get a feel for what the ship is like down here for the moment. I mean, ideally, this is where building in space actually is a lot more useful, to be honest. And I'm just going to come there, count you, and you, and you, and you. I think if I get the basic shape in position, because I want this spine to kind of continue until we get to the point where the ship starts to curve up towards the bow. So I think if I can get this kind of shape in position, let's turn the plane back on again, and then I mean it's all going to be a slightly weird, but and just like that, and then pop one in. That the right way around? Is the right way around? So that kind of gives the shape of the ship underneath, like that. Have a look on the side. It's kind of got there. You need to, yeah, like that. Yeah, I think I probably will replace these with the what we call it, the alien steel. Sorry, brain faded a little bit there. So I've got a connection there. I think just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put a block in just on there, just to keep the structural integrity going. And this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. In the next part, I'm going to have to carry on building, but what I will do is a little bit work off camera with respect to kind of filling in some of these corners and shaping stuff in and sorting out this machine room a little bit. What I most likely will do is pick up some of the elements within here and move them into the hangar deck temporarily while I can work on the machine room and get that built on the front here as well. And of course we're going to need to work on the taper of the ship going down to here. And for any of you who are interested, the machine room is probably going to come out probably nearly as far as the hangar deck goes backwards. So at the moment the ship looks a little bit out of proportion, but the machine room will probably come out another 12 blocks this way, and then what we'll get is the front of the ship kind of curving up into the cockpit. But this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode, hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.